I'd start with my dad. He was my coach and everything, and he was, as I look back, extremely patient, never overreacted, never outwardly frustrated. Always just kind of used everything as a learning moment throughout my childhood. And so I'd say he probably has always instilled that in me just from watching him. I think my father-in-law was always really good working for Mike Sherman, just kind of teaching me those lessons in coaching. Still to this day, because he's been a head coach in this league. He's been a head coach in college. So he kind of always knows what I'm going through. So those two are probably the two that have helped me the most aside from that.
Is there a noticeable energy shift at all within the room, knowing that Joe looked more like himself yesterday, the team won a game that felt that was very important?
I think it's just, when the team wins, it's good. You got to celebrate the wins in this league because they're always hard to come by. Every team's got so much talent, such good coaches. That you got to enjoy them when you get them, especially when you travel like we did, and it's a long flight. And so I was proud of our guys. But again, it's just we got to continue to build this and improve. It wasn't always perfect throughout the course of that game. There's moments where we could have been better in all areas. And that's kind of the message to the guys is happy that we won, proud of them, but we've got to get better real fast before Seattle gets to town.
You openly spoke about last week how you were proud of the way Jamar conducted himself. There's interviews for him to go and back it up this week. Did you have a conversation with him since the game?
No. I think, we got back late and we just had our team meeting, but no, I thought our guys responded well yesterday, and speaking of Jamar and the receivers, when their number was called, they stepped up.
What's the biggest thing you want to see this team build on? Just about the improvement. What do you want to see?
Yeah, just the small setbacks, and again, not finishing a drive on offense and, with 3 points or no points, we got to get 7 on the board. There was a 3rd and 1 late in the game. We had some miscommunication. We can't have that. That would extend a drive to put points on the board. Defensively, giving up 2 consecutive drives with points, we got to eliminate that kind of stuff. A lot of positives, but those are the types of things that, when we're trying to play to our standard of what we want to be as the season progresses, those are the types of things that we have to do a much better job of.
Was the 3rd and 5 that blitz they got you on? I think it was right before half. Is that the one you're talking about? The miscommunication? No,
it was late in the game, 3rd and 1. Yeah. There was one. They got us on 2 sacks in the field on 3rd down. One of them was a really good blitz versus the protection we had called. Tough pickup by our guys. And then the other one, the concept wasn't great versus the coverage they had, and so we had to hold the ball a little longer, and it was tough.
Did you make protection adjustments at half, or did you feel the protection was better in the second?
There was a lot of I thought the protection was really good. There was 3 sacks. 2 of them I just mentioned. One of them was in the low red zone on 3rd down, where Joe knows that's an area you can extend the play. A sack statistically isn't good, but in terms of the field position and the field goal, it doesn't really hurt you. So anytime you can prolong the play, it's a 4-point play. We encourage him to do that. He knows that. He's done a great job with that in the past, finding touchdowns before on 3rd down. So that's kind of what you play with there with that one. Aside from those 3 plays, we threw the ball, 45 other times. Now, a lot of them were screens. A lot of them were RPOs and things like that. But I thought the defense was away from Joe. He really didn't get touched, wasn't on the ground. So really those 3 sacks, aside from that, I thought the protection was really good.
Both Cam Taylor, Britt, and Jermaine Pratt said today that tackling was better than it was at Tennessee, but still nowhere close to where it needs to be. What needs to change tackling-wise?
We got to get them on the ground. And we don't tackle during the season. We tackle 2 days in training camp, maybe 2 periods. We drill it like crazy. The defense drills it separately. We have our tackling circuits we do as a team. But in an NFL season during the week, not much is going to change. We don't take guys to the ground. That's not what we do. So, again, when you get a chance to bring them to the ground, we need our guys to do that on first contact.
When there's something that's not an issue and it becomes an issue, is that more concerning or is it less concerning because it's not something that's been ongoing?
Oh, it's anytime it's happening, you got to make sure that we can detail the technique and make sure we make the corrections we can make.
Last year against Pittsburgh, Cleveland, New England, yesterday against Arizona, Trent stepping in, looking like he's a regular. What level of preparation does it take to have that ability?
Well, we place a lot of value. Our guys that first of all, our 3 starters can play all 3 positions. They know them all very well, but it's extremely critical that our backups are able to do that, because you never know which guy may go down or need a breather, and you got to be able to step up and do it. And so part of really how we teach our concepts is you just got to know the concept, not so much the position. You need to know the concept. And so guys like Trenton Irwin that can excel in that kind of stuff, they get more opportunity because they know all 3 positions. They can step up. You got a lot of trust in who can do that. I mean, Trenton, you trust. He hasn't worked either flea flicker in the last 2 years in practice ever. And he caught the one against Cleveland, and we had the one that was just a fingertip away in the game the other day. But that just speaks to really the trust. Get Trenton in there. We know he knows how to do it. We know it'll be have a great opportunity, and so many things. There's trust the coaches have in him. There's trust his teammates have in him. There's trust Joe has in him to be in the right spot, make the play. Same goes for all the guys that were on the field yesterday, TB and Jamar and Andre and all those guys that get an opportunity there. It's because we trust them, and we know otherwise they wouldn't be on the field. And Trenton's a guy that fits that mold to a T.
Early in the week, obviously, but do you have any expectations for T?
We'll just continue to see how the week goes. He was able to do some stuff as the weekend got closer. I didn't feel comfortable, with kind of how it was going to feel during the game. It wasn't right to put him in that spot. And so we just took that off of him, but he's done everything he can to see how it feels and how we can do. And we'll continue to take it day to day this week, but Monday, it's hard to say. We'll see Wednesday, Thursday where he's at. And, it's hard to make a decision this early in the week on that.
Does the fact that the bye sits on the other side of this next game play into that equation at all?
I think it's hard for me to say. We'll play day to day and see where we're at with him and how much practice he's able to get. It's tough when you're not able to practice, then go in the game and expect to be at your best. And again, we're fortunate with some depth in that room where we know guys can step up. We always want T to be out there because he's a big part of our team. So we'll just see how much practice time we get this week and where it falls.
It seems like Battle is working more and more, I guess, into a rotation. Is that how you envision it, to see him get more snaps as the season goes, or what do you and why?
Yeah, there's roles. There's roles for a lot of these guys. And whether it's times we put 3 safeties on the field, whether it's time we're putting more corners on the field. There's role. We found ways to get DJ Turner mixed in there early in the season because he can do a lot of different things for you as well. In addition to the corners we already have. Same thing with the safeties. So again, just as you can find ways to ease these rookies onto the field and get them comfortable, we know we're going to need them at large parts of the season. And so he's been really smart. I think since day one, he's done a great job understanding the defense, plays really physical. And so getting out there and getting his hands on balls and knocking balls out of receivers' hands, I think that's encouraging stuff.
A couple of guys yesterday, Zach, intimated that yesterday's win felt a lot like the New Orleans win last year where they catapulted the season. Can you take yourself back to that game against New Orleans last year and maybe what happened that day for the team to kind of click going forward that might apply to this year?
I think it's maybe just a win at the early part of the season. I think that win got us to 3-3. We were 2-3 last year, just like we are right now. So maybe, that was a game we didn't have any control of until late in the fourth quarter. Fumbled the punt, gave them points early, had some penalties that extended drives for them. So to me, this one felt different. Maybe it feels the same to them. For me, that was a game that we were behind the whole game and dug ourselves out late in the fourth quarter and were able to get a win in a really difficult environment to get us to 3-3. Other than the point in the season, it doesn't feel that much similar to me.
You made Kwame a captain, got him a catch, gave him a game ball. Would suggest that he's made a very favorable impression on the practice squad and his limited opportunities.
Right. He's, again, you know what you're going to get out of Kwame. Attention to detail is always going to be there. Really, Burrow did that. We got him in the game, but Burrow called the pass. It was a run. He tagged a run alert on there. I didn't. So, credit's really got to go to Joe understanding, you get a chance to get this guy's first catch. And sometimes when you're in those 4-minute situations and the DB's playing soft, sometimes your best play is just spit it out there to a one-on-one. And so that don't give me the credit on that one. We got him. Troy got him in the game there at receiver, like we talked about there in that last drive. But Joe's the one who tagged a little route there onto the run and was able to spit it out there to him.
I think you called it a red alert. Could you call it a red
I don't know what that means, but go ahead. Run alert. Run alert.
Run alert.
Run alert. Yeah. Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. That sounds dangerous. Red alert. No, the run alert though is just if we different than an RPO. An RPO, you're typically reading a defender to decide whether to hand it or throw it. A run alert is more just pre-snap. Maybe something more on the perimeter that's just dictated by the softness of a corner. Hey, I'm just going to take this and spit it out to Jamar or Kwame and instead of hand the ball off. So that's kind of the difference for us between an RPO and a run alert.
So he probably, that's probably what he was doing. He was probably saying, get up and catch.
Well, it was twofold. We had talked about that there was going to be maybe opportunity there in 4 minutes to throw one of those balls. He just took it a step further when Kwame got out there, and it's good. That's one of those things. We're trying to get a first down. It's hard when you're in 4-minute offense to get a first down because they're hell bent on stopping the run. They know what you're going to do. They know you're probably not going to play action or naked. So Joe really just kind of took what we had talked about and passed that along to Kwame, and it was I had no issue with that.
Having a second chance to watch Jamar and his performance yesterday on tape, was there anything in his 15 catches that made you say, wow, looking back on it with a more critical eye today?
Well, he can accelerate so quickly. It makes it tough for the angles of the guys trying to tackle him because he could be going to 80% and then burst to 100 real quick, and so your angles change. So I think that's what allows him to gain a lot of extra yards. I've said this often. He's like a running back in terms of his contact balance, and so when you do hit him in his legs, that usually isn't a good way to take him down because you can usually bounce off of that, and he keeps going. Again, the deep ball that he caught down the field, he did a great job tracking it. He caught balls at every position in our offense yesterday. And there's also credit that goes to TB and Trenton and Andre blocking on the perimeter for him because there was many short yardage situations on third down where we spit the ball out on some of those bubbles. And those guys got the play started by making sure they secured the line of scrimmage. And so, again, Jamar used his legs and got the first downs, but there was a lot of really good blocking out there on the perimeter on some of the screens we threw him and some of the run alerts we threw him. That allowed him to get some of those yards after the catch that he was able to get.
Is there anything to a star player having that kind of performance in a gotta-have-it game? Do you think that he just shows up when the team needs him most like he did yesterday?
Yeah, he always shows up, and again, we've got to continue to be creative with ways to get him the ball because teams are always going to try their best to take him away. And that's part of our job as coaches is to make sure that you can't fully take a guy away. We got to continue to be creative and find ways to get him the ball and allow him to be explosive. And it might not always be 58 yards down the field, launching the ball. It might be just trying to get him the ball in the move or get him the ball in the backfield. And he's done a great job. Again, there's never any MMAs from, missed assignments from him. When he's put in those positions, he nails it and knows how to do it. And that allows you to be a lot more flexible with how you use him and get him 15 catches in a game because he's able to retain all the information you're throwing at him in the week. I mean, he's got as much information as he's got to retain as any player other than quarterback maybe over the course of the week in terms of what position am I playing, where am I lined up, what is my route in this concept. He's got to do a lot.
Because you move him more than anybody else.
Yes.
The one thing, the long ball.
Yeah.
How hard was that? It was right.
It was really hard. It was, yeah. I was surprised how he caught it kind of over his left eye. I can't do that, and I don't. If you've never run with a helmet on, like down the field trying to track the ball, you don't understand how difficult that is. The helmet's kind of rattling around, and you're trying to track the ball, and there's lights and an indoor, and so again, he's a better receiver than I ever was. And so he does a better job like tracking down the field. Now I'm just kind of joking, but it was a strange angle with how it ended up coming down, and he made it look so effortless, and that's why he's Jamar.
It's the same thing with baseball. The hardest ball was the one right over your head.
Take your word for that one. I didn't make it past 5th grade.
But you talked about his ability to. I think you said he caught a ball from any position. How many guys in this league can
Yeah, not many. Because some may just feel out of position when all of a sudden they're in the backfield or they're in the slot, and he does. He can play outside. He can play inside. He could play running back. You could hand him the ball and give him carries at running back. Don't start getting any ideas, but he's got that ability to do a lot of things like that just because of the strength that he has as a player.
Understanding the caveat again of it being early in the week, do you at least feel good about Cheeto having a chance to go this week?
Well, we'll see. He's kind of in the same mold as T right now, and let's just get through these first 2 non-practice days, see where these guys are at Wednesday and Thursday, and I'll have a much better sense of them. And because again, I just don't know until we get back out there in the practice field on Wednesday and Thursday.
And after watching the film, how did you feel DJ did in his spot?
Yeah, I thought DJ did some good things, and was a willing tackler, got in there and mixed it up. Did a good job staying in phase with some receivers. He kind of lost a step on one of those. He almost picked off, then got back in phase on the scramble that their quarterback had, and almost picked the ball off on the goal line. So there's some good things from DJ.
You mentioned the one he almost picked off. Trey almost picked one off. Logan almost picked one off.
Yeah.
A pass breakup's always a good thing. How do you view those near interceptions?
Yeah.
Is that a good thing or a bad
Let's
thing?
get them. Let's be greedy when it comes to the turnovers. And again, sometimes Trey's is tough because he's got the quarterback dead to rights right there, and he's trying to figure out where the ball's going to go. And that one's short range. That one would have been great. Logan, I told Logan on the play, and I cannot believe he dropped that ball. I've seen him catch so many balls. That one, he had like 4 chances at it, and so that one surprised Logan, I'm sure as well. But we did a good job getting our hands on balls. We got to find ways just to create as many turnovers as we possibly can, because you never know. You never know when a drive is going to be extended after a missed opportunity like that. And all of a sudden, there's points on the board, and we had a chance to shut it down.